So let's take a look at 2023, 2024. And again, like last year, one of our key things that we have always focused on is the branch support. So there's definitely a need to make sure that everybody can that we're all kind of on the same page between, and many of you do that individually with the branches, but we also have to do it at the program level because we have to manage the message at the higher level. And so as part of that, last year, we really were pretty successful with the branch meetings, the branch support meetings that we had quarterly, and then that we ended up having, I want to say, every month or every other month when things got pretty busy and we were sharing a lot of information. So we exceeded our goal of, I think we put 40% on the table. So I had to raise the bar a little bit and say, let's try for 60% this year. And I think we actually did something like 75% or, really high. And so I think we should be able to have most of our branch coordinators are really interested in hearing what's going on and talking about what's going on and having an opportunity to ask questions. And I think that that's an important thing to maintain and keep up. So all of this, as you can see, my name's on a lot of these, right? And so I am going to be looking for people that would say, hey, I think I can help with this, and I'm really looking for somebody to kind of take the lead with driving it. I'm happy to continue to be involved, and obviously I will have to be no matter what. So, but if there are people who are willing to say, hey, I think I can help out with any of these goals that we have, even the individual ones, that would be great. Any comments, conversation about this piece of it here, Valerie, especially those of you who are in the branch? Is there something we're missing? Do we need to be doing, looking at it a different way? Diane, Stephanie, everybody, Martha, everybody who's working as a branch coordinator, because I mean, you've been wearing both roles for a number of times, so quite a long time. So you've been able to have your voice heard relative to both things, I think.
I think, well, has a survey gone out to the branch coordinators, or will there be a survey going out on their suggestions on how we can better help them? Is that something that we're planning on doing?
We can absolutely plan on doing that, Valerie. I mean, I don't know that I would make it a goal to do it, but I think it should be something that we do, that we deliver, to ask them, what else can we do? What would they like to see? I think I'll take a look at what we asked them the last time. Remember when we came up with the list of what we were going to focus the meetings on, the meeting sessions. So I think we can probably start with that list and refresh it and send it back out to all of the branch coordinators. I need to talk to Sandy about how to take the list from the new directory thing, and is there a way for me to do a mail merge so I can send the link, an email with the link in it to everybody that's in that list? So let me talk to her about how to do that with the new list.
I think something would be helpful, and I know we did do this, is to have the directors meet just with their branch coordinators at least a couple of times prior to camp. I know, because for me, there were a lot of new branches to Sonoma. And so it would have been helpful probably if I had another meeting with them prior to camp, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely should have at least one.
Yeah.
Right. You should have, and I don't know. I know we always had one in the fall. for San Diego. And then if we have time, then we'll get together a little bit closer to camp and try and work with the branch coordinators then. And that may be a Zoom session, but I know we did try to do an in-person session with them in the fall, everybody that went to San Diego. I don't think we did anything with virtual this past year. And I know I didn't do anything in last fall. So nor did I get together with them. Yeah, Vanessa, that's a good point, Diane.
I just want to say that if we are going to have this COVID requirement again, it needs to be on the very first communication we have with the parents. We found out that they weren't vaccinated and they weren't going to get vaccinated way too late in the process. And we lost a lot of potential girls for that reason. And I had understood the parents would be told that, you know, when they gave their first agreement, but it wasn't in that documentation. So hopefully COVID requirement will go away, but if it's still there, please let's get it up sooner.
Well, I mean, actually it was in their application, in the very first authorization, they had to agree that they would have COVID vaccinations. So,
But I think they don't-
or have the appropriate medical exemptions.
Yeah, they don't read everything.
No, they don't.
So I think that it's really important. Like we told the girls when we interviewed them, every single one, we said it was a requirement. And then we still got people acting like they didn't know, or maybe they didn't really believe it, or they thought we wouldn't check. I don't know what it was, but you know, we told everybody and we mentioned it several times. So we verbally spoke the words to them, and it was in the application.
Well, they thought it was going to change. I think that was the other thing. They were hoping it would change as time went on or something.
Yeah.
But to me, that was not the issue. The biggest issue was saying in the paperwork that they did not have to get vaccinated until 2 weeks before the camp.
Right.
I had one that literally did that, and it's so unfair to the branch coordinators, but also to the alternates, because you're sitting there not knowing if this person's really going to complete it or not. I think it should be rolled way back to like May 1st or something, so you can then stick somebody else in there if they refuse to go get their vaccination if it's required.
Yeah, that one is that's a toughie, that one there. You know, we definitely have to give them a part of our whatever coming through the 80 from an ADA perspective. We have to give them a period of time that's reasonable.
But Mary, you can get boosters and original vaccinations in a pharmacy. So it's not like it used to be that, you know, you couldn't even find it or whatever. I mean, they could literally get it done
yeah,
the next weekend.
yeah. All right, well, we'll take a look at that.
Nevertheless, 4 of my alternates fell through at the last minute because of COVID vaccination issues.
Yeah, but you know, and I guess we'll never know, Vanessa, whether that, you know, part of the issue is because they're alternates, we don't make them go through all the paperwork until they get accepted to the camp, because we don't want anybody to have to provide that information that's not going to necessarily attend the camp. And so the only thing we could do is go out and ask them, are you vaccinated? Yes or no? And do that a couple weeks before camp and make sure that we have as good an understanding as possible of all of our alternates and where they're at. And I get how that could slip through the cracks or not get done because you're not thinking about it at that point in time, until all of a sudden everybody is either getting COVID, has to back out, or, you know, you get to the end run and you need to have somebody backfill. Let's just, you know, part of me is kind of counting on the fact that this is not going to be as big a deal next year. Most places are not requiring you to provide proof of vaccination at this point in time. I think cruises maybe still are, some other places are, but for the most part, let's hope that the universities are not requiring it next year. We'll see where they're at towards the end of this year. Yeah, Vanessa. Is your hand still up?
No, I'm happy. Thank you.
Oh, okay, thanks. So one of the things in this one I could really use some help with is somebody to help us with the website stuff. So we do have that we would like to make some changes. I just don't know that I'm going to be able to get to it myself in the near term. And I really would like to have this all done by the beginning of November. And so it's basically going through kind of what we're looking at from a structure and figuring out what documentation, what things do we need to go behind what we've got put together. Because right now it's just basically we have a list of documents, and you go in and you pick your list, or you go to that one page and you look at a couple things and that's it. That's really not a website. It's just here's a place to find stuff. So if anybody is interested in doing that, let me know about that. This is really the stuff we were talking about. I was talking about with a lot of the work that we got started last year. Ellie, Lavender, and Heidi Doss and I worked with a bunch of the Tech Trek alumni to figure out what we needed to do from an advisory board standpoint so that they could have a voice in the committee and what's going on here. And Ellie is going to be basically working with them and making sure that their needs are being met. And as I said, we will be meeting at least quarterly. They may decide they want to meet monthly. I don't know. But we have our first meeting next Monday, and it'll be a smaller group. Hopefully we're going to tell them we're appointing the first round of officers for the advisory board, and then we will let them kind of take it over from there. We'll see what happens. So give it a little push and see how far we can get. And I have started getting some things in. One of the branch coordinators sent in something about, trying to get one of these astronauts to come and speak to us. And I said, I think it's a great idea. It may work for the Tech Trek alumni. I don't know how easily we could do that for a camp, for instance, because we've got 5 or 6 different weeks of camp, number one, that we couldn't pick one date for one, but maybe we have enough camps that overlap each other. We could do something virtual. I don't think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think anybody really is going to, any of the camps are going to be particular interested in seeing something recorded from an astronaut. I think they would be more interested in a live interaction back and forth rather than, would you put time in your schedule as a camp director for an hour or an hour and a half of an astronaut just talking at you? Tell me if you would, then we can maybe look at something.
If you had it recorded, it would be useful in the T-tag.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It could be useful for T-tag, but Martha, what were you saying?
Yeah, I would say probably not, because that's something that most of the girls could watch on their own, or we could provide it, for branches if they wanted to get together. But generally we try to do things that are live, real, if possible, yeah, I don't think that would probably work for us. I don't know, Stephanie, you might have other thoughts.
I think it would be valuable though, because that's very hot item right now, and it's going to get even more publicized in the next year with the landing on the moon. So, I think it would be valuable in some format.
Yeah, and I my comment back to her was, I definitely think it's something worth looking at from a alumni community standpoint, because maybe we could do a whole NASA series on different jobs, astronauts, mission controllers, different functions that are in the NASA realm that maybe the girls could be interested in, and you could pique some interest. Yeah, Jonay.
That's why we, having an aerospace class is like a really good venue for that.
Right. You have an aerospace class, and I think I don't know how I'd have to think about how we would coordinate, since we never know our exact dates for a little while, how we would coordinate with the NASA people to have somebody at every camp, for instance. So I'm just not sure how that would work.
And you need to let them know quite a bit in advance to do it too.
Yeah, if we knew quite a bit in advance.
Yeah.
If if you know your dates and you know what date you would like to have them, then I think for the most part, they want you to be very specific. Tell me exactly what you want, when you want it. I haven't looked at the form, but I'll look at it and see what we can do with that. So if other things like that come in, I think, we'll try and share it as much as possible, but it definitely will. I think it would be of interest to a lot of the kids on the Tech Trek Advisory Board. So the alumni. And I just kind of lumped a bunch of the stuff in here. I told somebody else, one of our, probably the most important in my mind, things that we need to do is this top part here. We have to find a financial liaison to replace Kathy. Kathy has another job. She is responsible for this, so she kind of wants to keep a close eye on it, and that's good, but she's got another job, and we need to find somebody to backfill her. Big shoes to fill too. And we have talked to every treasurer who is out there pretty much and asked them if they're interested and have not gotten a taker yet. So this is something that we're going to need everybody's help with as you look at people in your branches, as you communicate with different people, to see if we can't find somebody to help with this. One of the selling points, I guess, too, as we move forward into this next year, we are working with this QuickBooks Online. So we are going to be transitioning, wrapping up the pilot this year, and then starting to transition into next year, early next year. And that really makes aggregating the information much easier at the state level, to look at how all of this information fits together into the big state plan and the big budget that needs to end up being reported to SPF in the state. So her job is going to be a lot less pasting together of spreadsheets, hopefully. Right, Kathy? Right, Kathy?
Absolutely. QuickBooks will really help a lot. So.
Yeah. So, and we've already seen, yeah, Martha.
I just wanted to compliment, because I think the payments and the checks coming back and everything were faster than ever. And I know, Kathy, you were and Mary too, probably, you were just taking on lots and lots of vouchers and receipts and everything else. But we got comments from our staff, and they were who have been here before, and they were blown away with how quickly things were done. So just wanted to thank you.
I had nothing to do with it. So it's Kathy, Kathy is the one to give all the credit to for that one. She may have asked me a question and I answered it, and that was it, so I think
thank you very much from all of us.
Good. Yay, Kathy. Nice work. so, I think that personnel thing, getting those people on board and getting not just Kathy's position filled, because now we're over the hurdle of the year, it's like, this is the big piece, and then pulling together the budget's going to be a challenge too. But I don't, well, we'll see how different it is going to be from last year. And so I think that needs to take place. But I think, one of the conversations that I've had with a couple of people has to do with what is the Rubicon beyond which branches will not go in terms of a camp fee.
Oh, true.
And so at what point, if we end up having to raise costs, and I'm already hearing about that from some of the camps, that their costs are going to have to go up. If we have to, I'm going to plug a number, $1,500.
Wow.
And somebody might say, I used to be able to send 3 campers. I'm only going to send 2 campers. Now, do I have as much demand for another camp? For another camp location? How do I balance that equation to say, at what point do we look at, and because I will tell you this, there will be no other camp location that's going to be as cheap as our most expensive one, probably. There will be none cheaper unless you went to some of the places that we're already going to. Yeah, Diane.
I was just looking at, maybe, I didn't look at it, but I was thinking about if we went home on Friday evening instead of the Saturday morning, if that would make much financial difference. And probably not, but
it actually does end up making a fairly significant financial difference.
Because it's one less night, right? So
yeah, we did that, and there are pluses and minuses to doing that. So you have to think about what you would normally do and how you have to get ready to go and get rid of everybody that night.
Right.
Because they have to be gone. You don't have a whole day to spend trying to get rid of them. So you have to plan on having them out of there by 7 o'clock at the latest, or how, whatever. Yeah, Martha.
Yeah, and some of the universities, I know Davis would not allow that. We'd have to get out by noon on Friday.
That's what I was thinking too.
I was surprised. I never had asked before. I was surprised that they were pretty accommodating at UCSD.
That's
that
really nice.
Blew me away. It was like,
that's really nice. They've got that. Davis has packages, and they fit everybody into these package deals, which is frustrating too. But yeah, because we've talked to them about a few different things, they're like, they're not real flexible on some issues like that. But who knows? Maybe they will change if nobody wants to come anymore to their place. Who knows?
Well, but price isn't everything either, because we have probably our lowest priced camp that's out there is one of those that struggles to get volunteers to go, and struggles to get maybe not campers to attend, but certainly struggles to get people to help out with the camp. And so it is one of the more attractive financially, but it's more challenging from a location standpoint. So those are the kinds of things that we need to look at. And, I have to tell you right now, and we're going to do everything we can to identify some people. I'm going to reach out to the Society of Women Engineers and see, through our late career, early retirement group, maybe we have some people that are poised to do something like this, get involved, and get them connected in as the dorm mom next year. But even that takes a little bit of time, right, Martha?
Yeah, we're talking to some people up here too that are connected with Intel and with the Society of Women Engineers. So, we'll keep you posted.
And so I think that we have to really start thinking about how we're gonna try and get somebody in place. But I hate to say this, if we don't have camp directors, we don't